course, the first complete game of 2022, doing something that not many pitchers are allowed to do anymore, going the distance. And you heard that call right there. That was Joe Davis, the voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers on Spectrum Sportsnet LA. And my colleague and friend joins us now on the program. And Joe, you got to witness it yesterday at Chase Field. Just how brilliant did Walker look?
He looked awesome. And, first few starts, he looked okay, but for him, that's not very good. So everybody was kind of wondering, when are we going to see the Walker Buehler that we expected? It showed up last night. He had everything going. Fastball was back up. Fastball had spin that you typically associate with his fastball, and he threw the curveball more than he's ever thrown. So his full package of tricks was on display like we haven't seen in a really long time.
You know, you watch Walker Buehler and you know how competitive he is. We always joke that there shouldn't be too many microphones on the field because you can hear everything that he says. But he said he wasn't going to be taken out of that game. Dave Roberts said he earned it, let him go back out there. But this is a different situation, Joe, than when Clayton Kershaw had 7 perfect innings. And we're trying to decipher that. What was your take on that situation when Clayton had his first start in Minneapolis?
Yeah. So, right, the first start versus the fourth. So there's that obvious difference. But I think the bigger one is that Clayton Kershaw is coming off an elbow injury that was bad enough where he didn't know if he would ever pitch again. So not only was it his first start, but he was coming off an injury. And Buehler's at a point in his career where he, knock on wood, doesn't have those injury concerns, and he's more built up, actually started the season more built up than Kershaw. So I think that those factors made it a situation where Dave Roberts could listen to Walker Buehler when he came out and said, I am not coming out of this game.
This is a Dodgers starting rotation that's been pretty remarkable, but you can't look away from what the bullpen is doing also, Joe. Very consistent in between the starting staff, a 2.07 earned run average, and a bullpen that's putting up a 2.09 ERA. How pleased do you think Mark Pryor is with the consistency up and down their arms?
Yeah, he's got to be very pleased. And let's remember that in the bullpen, Blake Trinan's been out he hadn't pitched in 10 days. So the fact that they're doing it without their best arm down there makes it even more impressive. And it's another year where there's a guy or two that it's like, where did these dudes come from that are pitching big innings and impressing for the Dodgers? Evan Phillips has retired 15 batters in a row. He's touched 98. And last year it was like, Evan Phillips, wait, who is he? And now he's a dude. This happens every year for them.
Speaking of a guy that seems to be back to being a dude, Bopper is back. At least it appears that way in the first 15 games of the season. Cody Bellinger, the National League Player of the Week. What's been the biggest difference you've noticed for him?
I think that it's not as much the pitches he's swinging at, it's the pitches that he's not swinging at. So the high fastball, as you know, Alana, has been his kryptonite the last few seasons. He's just stopped swinging at it. I mean, he's still gonna swing some, but relative to what he was doing the last year plus, he's just leaving those pitches up and attacking the pitches that are in his sweet spots, which is middle and down, and he's doing damage. So I think that obviously the shoulder being healthy, having a full year of strengthening that shoulder as opposed to just rehabbing back from a surgery is a big deal, according to Cody, and he seems to have found a swing that kind of leverages the healthy shoulder better than he has in a long time.
Yeah, Cody seems to be getting back on track. A guy that the Dodgers need to get back on track is Mookie Betts. Kind of off to a slow start, but he did have 2 home runs on Friday. The OBP over the last 4 games, about 500. What have you noticed in terms of the biggest change with him, perhaps his swing or just the way that he's playing overall?
Yeah, he's working on stuff every day. Like, Alana, he grinds away and he tweaks a lot of things and searches for that feeling, and he's his hardest critic. And so, you're right. He's got a 500 on-base percentage the last 4 days. He's been on 10 times in the last 4 games. He's scored 8 runs on those 10 trips around the bases. So even though he still feels like he's searching and not himself and letting the team down, and you hear him talk like he's the worst player in baseball, he's still really productive. And because the rest of the lineup is so stacked, guys like him or Bellinger with his slow start or whoever it may be, it's okay if they go through a few weeks where they're not great because no one guy in this lineup is going to be expected to carry him.
Freddie Freeman can certainly carry a team anywhere that he's been. How have you noticed that dynamic and the connection that Freeman has with the Dodgers?
He's awesome. I've not seen a player embraced by the fans like he has been. The Freddie chants at Dodger Stadium are chill-inducing, and they're traveling too. We hear it in San Diego. We heard it in Arizona last night. So it's really cool to see the fans embrace him the way that they have. And he's just a beautiful hitter. I mean, the way he uses the whole field, the way that he makes his swing decisions, and sometimes he's going to just flip the ball the other way, but other times, like we saw last night, he's going to absolutely unload first pitch and hit a missile off the wall. It's the guy that Dodger fans have seen for so long on the other side, and now we're getting an added appreciation getting to watch him play every day.
Yeah, his former club, the Atlanta Braves, will take on the Chicago Cubs on Thursday. That's our MLB Network Showcase game. I am heading to that. And then after that, I'm coming to see you, Joe Davis, heading to L.A. to talk about the All-Star Game. You and I are going to be emceeing the All-Star Game show, the All-Star Game presser. The Los Angeles Dodgers get to host for the first time since 1980. They were supposed to do it in 2020, but this thing called COVID hit. How nice will it be to have it there?
Yeah, going to be awesome. I mean, you can't think of a better pairing, can you, between All-Star Game and a city with the stars in baseball coming to Los Angeles. The city of stars should be awesome, and in a ballpark that's going to be a great backdrop for it.
And who knows, Joe, you might be calling the World Series at Dodger Stadium. You are the new voice of MLB on Fox. Congratulations. Nobody earned it more than you, as Joe Buck has moved on to other things. What was that like when you found out that you were the new voice? And I know that you looked up to Joe Buck in your career, and just what a moment for you.
Yeah, thanks, Alana. It was, I was kind of like a lady in the movies that gets proposed to and just loses it and can't even answer. Yeah, of course, yes. It was kind of like that, to be honest with you. A dream come true, and you're right. Part of this dream coming true is that it's Joe that I'm following, and he's the guy that I grew up listening to and dreaming of being like one day, and he's become a mentor and a friend to me. So that's part of what makes the gig extra special too, is that I'm following as good as there's ever been in the job.
Well, nothing has been given to you, Joe Davis. You have earned every bit of this. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for taking a few moments out of your day to be with us to talk Dodgers.